few more seconds and then get kicked off. You guys were early birds today.
You win the imaginary door prize.
Wow, congrats. Congrats. All right, that's my cue. So let's get it kicked off. It's 12 o'clock p.m. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are going back to the basics today to talk about optimizing your overall social selling strategy. So I know we've got a few different types of people on the call. Maybe you're from your company's marketing team and you want to maybe just learn about how to leverage social selling. Or maybe you want to take some of the knowledge you learned today back to your brand or to your social sellers. Or maybe you're a social seller and you want to learn about how you can optimize your strategy to support your professional brand and business, even if your marketing posts on your behalf, or if they empower you to drive your own social strategy. Either way, you can learn some actionable things to take back and implement right away. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'll introduce myself quick in case you don't know who I am. I'm Taylor Hanson, Director of Customer Experience here at Denim Social. I've been here almost 2 years working alongside a ton of our large customers that manage social selling programs powered by Denim Social. I'm going to toss it over to our special guest, Nola.
Thanks, Taylor. Hi, everybody. I'm Nola Morris, the VP of Strategy here at Denim Social. And I know I'm a new face for some of you. I've been with the Denim Social team for about 4 months, but I'm coming to you from over 12 years in the insurance industry where I specialized in social selling for a large majority of that time. And I'm excited to be sharing some social selling basics with you today. These are some foundational elements to having a successful social presence that will help you build relationships and grow your business. And like Taylor said, some of you are here as admins of a social selling program, and some of you are actual social sellers. These best practices are useful to each of you, whether you're putting them into practice yourself or if you're an admin sharing these with your social sellers. So I wanted to jump right in and level set on what social selling actually is. It's not just social media management for your brand. It's using social media as part of your sales toolkit. It's adding it to your usual relationship building mix like email, in-person meetings, and phone calls. And for those leading marketing at the brand level, like many of you on the call today, enabling a social selling program as an extension of your brand marketing efforts also helps amplify your brand message through the folks that are making your brand come to life at the local and personal level. So social selling is using social media to ultimately sell a product or a service, but it's through a combination of staying top of mind with your customers and potential customers through regular organic content posting. It's building relationships by engaging with your community, responding to comments, and proactively reaching out to your audience. And social media is also a place for you to showcase your thought leadership. So it's a place for you to establish yourself as the trusted advisor in your industry that your customers already know that you are. And ultimately, social selling will help you reach more leads. So all of this can feel very overwhelming, especially in a regulated industry, but focusing on a few key best practices can help you weave it into your daily routine. And before you know it, social will go from being a burden to a meaningful way to keep your business moving.
Nola, I love how you position it as working it into your everyday sales toolkit. Social media should fit directly alongside those sales calls, in-person meetings, and emails. So remember that as we're talking today. So Connor's got up some best practices. We've broken out these best practices into 3 main categories. And then finally, we're going to talk about how you can implement these into your everyday habits.
Yes, hopefully this will be an easy way for you to follow along. And at the end, this will all make sense. And we'll talk about how to weave this into your daily routine. So let's start with the basics. Whichever social channel mix you've decided is right for you, you always want to make sure your brand is consistent and robust across each channel. And that sounds easy, but there are a few things to consider to ensure your identity is clear and consistent. You always want to start with your profile images. Make sure they are easily recognizable and familiar to your customers. It can be a professionally taken photo or a well-lit high-res image taken on a smartphone. Keep it updated so it always looks like you. You don't know me that well, but my hair color tends to change a lot. So I'm always updating my LinkedIn profile image and my profile images across social platforms.
Yeah, my headshot needs to be updated from even this deck, chop my hair off.
Go check her. She has really long hair in her profile images. She needs an update.
I do.
But the good news is, Taylor, the days of the professional headshot have changed. So you can definitely still go that route, but don't underestimate the power of a well-taken image on a smartphone. It can be just as good. And I know we've all experienced someone reaching out to us on LinkedIn or other channels for that matter, but specifically on LinkedIn without a personal photo. And I know I will immediately ignore those connection requests and delete those messages. I don't know who they are. I can't see your face. So profile images are super important. And then
Exactly.
you don't want to miss your cover images. This gets overlooked a lot. So Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter all have a space for a cover or background image. And you want to make sure you have something there, but check in on any brand guidelines you might need to follow and make sure you aren't snagging something you don't have rights to on Google. A lot of images are out there and available, but make sure you have rights to use them. But the cool thing is LinkedIn actually provided an update a while ago with some cool options that are actually built into the platform. So select one of those on LinkedIn if you aren't sure what to use. Just make sure your background and cover images are filled out along with your profile image. And then it's all about your about sections. So people essentially use social media like Google. This is where they go to find you. So having the right bios and information is super important. And this varies across social channels, but the key is to make sure it's all accurate and truly reflective of you and your business. And this includes your descriptions, your location information, your hours of operation. You want to make sure it's current and as robust as possible. And now we hope you're here because you're using Denim Social to help you be present and stay active on social, but it's super important to visit your social channels natively every once in a while, just to make sure your information is updated and accurate.
Yeah. Yeah. Nola, you said something that kind of rung a bell for me. I get notifications all the time of requests from people without profile pictures. And it's like, if I can't see your face, it seems a little sketchy to me. So I think that's a really good call out.
Yeah, it seems super basic and simple, but it's
Yeah.
something to focus on and always making sure that it's updated to who you are. You don't want to use a picture that's 20 years old that doesn't look like you are today.
True. Also, just want to do a quick call out. We're going to send out a comprehensive guide after this call that includes these best practices. So like admins you can share with your social sellers implement into your strategy. But yeah, you'll be receiving that after the call. So keep an eye out. Let's check out our next best practice.
Yeah, then it's all about what you say on social. And this can feel like the most overwhelming part, but there are a handful of things to consider that will make it all more digestible. And I always say post with purpose. I'm convinced I should have trademarked that. I haven't. So if you hear it somewhere else, just know that I started it, I think. I don't know. But I always say post with purpose because posting content regularly is the foundation of social selling. Whether you're doing organic or paid advertising, it's the foundation. And your social presence should always be an extension of who you are in real life. You should always post something that matters or means something to you or your business. And if it doesn't, don't post it. People can tell. And many of you know the Denim team just attended Social Media Week in New York City. And one of the main themes that you've heard us talk about that we saw coming out of that was that authenticity will always win. And we'll probably scream that from the rooftops indefinitely. This should really be driving what you choose to post. And there's not really a magic number of posts per week you should aim for, but keeping it consistent is key. So it's important to give, I'm gonna pause here so everyone's listening up. This is kind of interesting and something to consider and actually takes the pressure off of posting. But it's important to give posts a few hours to generate engagement. If you see a post getting higher than usual engagement, let it run before posting something again. This helps your posts continue showing in your audience's feeds because the algorithm knows your content is liked. And then of course, listen to what's performing well and post that type of content again. So post with purpose, remember that. And then consider the time. So each platform has optimal times for posting for the most engagement. It's not perfect and can totally change. And we have a resource that we'll send as a follow-up, like Taylor mentioned, that outlines some of the current ideal times per platform. But at the end of the day, sometimes that classic morning post will be just the ticket for you. Otherwise, you can be planful and schedule your posts within the optimized time. You'll see the rubric that we'll send as a follow-up. And then the next thing to remember, like we talked about earlier, is that this is your chance to showcase your thought leadership. You're a trusted advisor for your clients, and that should shine on social media. Social is an opportunity for you to reach clients with your expertise when they might not otherwise be engaging with you. Maybe they're considering a purchase or they've just closed something with you. Your point of view will add value to the relationship outside of those typical proof points of the customer journey. Customers are doing business with you because they like you and trust you. And this means you should let that same person show up on social media. And then it's all about your variety. You've heard us talk about a healthy and informed content mix, finding ways to bring in industry thought leadership and combine it with your own localized posts. We know your personal posts will always get the most engagement. So you want to find ways to talk about things happening in your world at the localized level. So in the events, people that are popping into your office or your workspaces, sponsorships in the community, sports teams that you're sponsoring, things like that. Mix that in. That's the stuff that people really want to see and make you relatable. And then of course you want to mix in your industry articles and insights related to your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Nola, I think that's a really good point. And we tried to put that in the visuals here. If you look at the two different posts on the screen, you'll see Nola and my posts. They're both kind of about social media week, but Nola took the more personal approach, talking about what she learned, who she met. And then mine is taking a industry article from Up Content out of the content library and kind of putting my own spin on it and tying it back to what we learned at Social Media Week. So two different types of content. You have personal and industry, kind of the same thread, but showing you two different ways to frame it up. So really love how you're talking about variety of content. And you can see right there, that's a few different ways to do it.
And I called you out on this yesterday, Taylor, but I thought this post was good for you because you are a good example, and bravo to you because it shows your authenticity. It's still industry related, where sometimes you can assume content might get dry or what do I say about this industry article? It's very authentic. I can hear you saying the words that you've typed in your post. So you can see the authenticity ring true in both types of content.
Thanks, Nola. Yeah. The cool thing is that Denim Social, a lot of these posts give you some lead in language to work with, but you should, or you can put your own spin on it.
Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of that, the whole point of social selling is to interact on social media. Don't post and ghost. If you saw that on my last post on the last slide. Your
favorite thing to say. I'm not going to steal that from you.
My trademark.
Yeah, that is your trademark. Mine's post with a purpose and yours is don't post and ghost. It's a great follow-up. But that's what social selling is all about, really. It's about listening, responding, and interacting. That's why it's called social media. So publishing is actually just the start. I'll say you never want to set it and forget it. Similar, don't post and ghost. It's not just about posting and forgetting about it. People want to know that you're a human. They want to interact with you on social, just like they want to interact with you in person. So you want to keep an eye on those that are engaging with your posts. If you see someone you haven't connected with on LinkedIn, connect with them if you haven't. Respond and react to comments when they're relevant. So show your connections that you're watching and that their responses matter to you. And take a moment to return the favor too. So engage with posts from your own connections from your professional accounts. Maybe there are businesses that you follow in your own community or other thought leaders. Engage with those. It's not all about you getting the engagements. It's about you returning the favor and showing them that you're paying attention to what they have to say. And then never forget the power of social media before a client interaction. This is a tricky one and sometimes forgotten, but show them you're paying attention to what they're posting and bring it up in real life. You know, there's a lot of conversation right now in the social industry around social mixing with in real life experiences. And this is what better way to do that than actually bring something up and act like you saw it on social media. They're posting it on purpose. So mention it. Did they get married? Did they move? Did they start a new job? You can learn a lot. And if they're posting it publicly, it's fair game. But leveraging that, those publicly shared life events is as key touch points in your interactions is an awesome way to use social media in your everyday.
And it's kind of a gimme, like a super easy way to start conversations in real life, right? So all of these together, I love all of these, Nola. Let's talk about how these social sellers and brands and marketing admins can start weaving this into their daily lives and making it a habit.
Yes, like I said earlier, all of this can feel overwhelming. You're like, this is great. In a few minutes, we've covered social selling basics, but how do I actually make this happen? Well, this isn't everything, but this is a quick way to look at it on a daily basis on how to make it a habit and weave it into your daily routine. So think about this in 1 day increments. So in less than 10 minutes, you can grow your network. So check out LinkedIn, respond to any new connection requests that people have sent you, people that you actually know and truly want to connect with on LinkedIn. Check those out and respond to them. send any relevant connection requests with a personalized note. I've made it my goal every morning. This might sound nerdy, but here I am celebrating social selling. It's what I do. I kick my morning off with LinkedIn, kind of like the newspaper, to get in my professional zone and headspace. So you'll catch me in the morning responding to my connection requests, sending any new ones that are recommended for me, and it kind of gets my day going. The same goes for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other channels. Check your recent new followers, follow them back if it makes sense for you and your business. 10 minutes or less, super easy. Pull up the platforms, respond to those connection requests. And then it only takes a few minutes to listen for new opportunities. So do your research. Look up your clients on social channels before meeting with them, like I mentioned earlier. Learn about them either professionally or personally. People are posting their most important moments on social media, so you can use that to connect with those people in real life. Congratulate them on promotions, babies, and any other life events. And that congratulations can happen digitally on social. You can kind of keep it in your pocket for when you run into them in person. Blend that in real life with the social landscape. And then take a few minutes to build credibility and showcase your thought leadership. So make sure you schedule your content, post something fresh to create those new touch points for your social audiences and clients. Take a few moments to engage with others' content as well. You want to engage with that content posted by other businesses and professionals in your community to stay top of mind. And then, of course, as needed, don't forget to stay current, check in on your native profiles, add new experiences or accomplishments to your LinkedIn profile, make sure your bios and about sections are current on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and make sure your social channels are truly reflective of you and your business when people are searching for you.
I love all of these tips, and there are so many that you can implement, but these are like the main things that you can take back today. Admins, these are tips that you should be sharing regularly with your social sellers, not just once. After this, you could feel free to send to them, but get on a cadence. Make this part of social your habit to share back with your social sellers quarterly, monthly. Weekly is a lot, but some people do it and it works for them, right? And then social sellers, if you're on here today, start implementing these to make social media part of your toolkit and part of your everyday habits.
Yes. And this is the foundation. We'll continue having conversations building off of these topics. But if you can set the foundation to social selling in this way, you're set up for success for additional organic posting, additional paid advertising. This is the foundation. And it seems basic, but it can be hard to weave into your everyday. So if you follow this plan and think through these things, it should be easier.
Please. And we've left some time for some questions at the end. Quick reminder, as we let the chat start to populate, quick reminder that we have an awesome resource that we're going to send out to you after the call. We have a social sellers guide that includes all of this information and more. Great info, again, to implement into your social selling program, or if you're a social seller, please take a look at it. So I have one question coming in, and it looks like we've got another chat to everybody. Great info. Thank you, Jill. Love you. All right. So Nola, question. What should I do if I'm not getting a lot of engagement on my posts? What else should I try?
Well, consider what you're posting. Why is it not resonating with your audience? Are you posting something that, do you know your audience? Do you know who's actually out there following and liking you on social media? Note it. They're not interested in that. Try something else. Take a pause and try to post something local that's about you personally. Build that, use the relationship building tactic. So there's not always a perfect answer. Sometimes you post at the wrong time and you kind of miss a window. I've had it before where I post something, I'm like, this is really going to kill it. Everyone's going to love this. And it kind of dies. And sometimes something that you're excited about doesn't excite your audience. Or consider other things that are happening in current events or in society. Always take those in consideration. If something sad or a tragedy has happened in the world, don't post that day. It's what we call going dark. Go dark that day. Sometimes those situations can impact your engagement as well, and you want to be considerate and stay quiet on those days. So it's a lot of factors, but think about what you're posting and try something personal.
Great input. And I also, my favorite tactic is ask your audience some questions and tie in personal things to that. So my favorite customer anecdote that we heard a few weeks ago was they love, I think it was banana bread. And so they were like, share with us your favorite banana bread recipe. And so it doesn't always have to be the most professional, especially if you're a social seller. Engage your audience, tell them that you're human.
And those are creating those touch points. So would someone making banana bread typically be thinking about their LO or their insurance agent or their local banker while they're making banana bread? No, but you just made them do that when they wouldn't otherwise be thinking about you because you posted about banana bread. So it's a funny example, but it's super relevant for that reason.
Totally. We've got a really good question that came in. As a brand, how can we support our social sellers? Things like providing content that they can share, etc.
Yeah, great question, Beth. The fact that you're even asking that question means that you are doing that. So bravo. That means you have the desire. So first of all, have the desire. Check. You got that. Providing content. Yes, of course. Give your social sellers content that feels authentic. Give them something that feels editable to something that is a topic starter for them, something they can edit with their own copy, kind of like the example we showed that Taylor had with the industry article, but she edited the post to something that came from her heart. But also it's training. It's things like this. It's conversations. Notice we're not actually talking about the Denim social platform. Our platform is here to make all of this much easier for you. But social selling is a true sales practice, and it's a habit. It's weaving social in, like I said earlier, into your everyday relationship building mix, like email, phone calls, handshakes, in-person things. It's having these conversations in getting your other partners in your business involved. A lot of times these conversations are sitting with marketing associates, and you can crawl over to your sales groups and get your sales people involved and say, hey, we're actually promoting social as a sales tool. We're encouraging our social sellers to use social as a true relationship building touch point outside of the typical point of sale. Get them involved. So what I'm saying is probably not what you thought I was going to say, but it's different ways that you can really promote that change of using social as a sales tool beyond providing content and a platform.
A few other things that I like that I've seen from our other crews, from our other customers, even as far as helping them polish their social profiles, making sure that they have the assets that they need for maybe a branded cover photo or their about section. Give them like a fill in the blank summary. I know we have a customer that does that. Give them the resources to make it easy for them, like foolproof, right? You want it to be foolproof for them. That's a great way to support them. I love Nola bringing up training. Oh, sorry, Nola, go ahead.
No, that was actually a great segue, Taylor, into the next question that I saw pop through from Matthew. So, but keep going. We can jump to that in a second.
Yes, I was just going to bring up the training, make a either office hours or a refresher training on social media and compliance and how Denim Social can power that with your users or your producers. That's something that we see people do on a quarterly basis. And then also just, making sure they have enough content to share and that they feel empowered, and remind them on a monthly cadence to, hey, schedule out your posts. Here's what's in your content library. Schedule it out.
Yep, exactly. Reminders, touch points, training, even revisiting platform training with us. Don't forget, I'll just jump into Matthew's question. He says, how does Denim Social make my company more productive in social selling? We have a platform that creates the foundation and makes the foundation easy. So first of all, with organic social, there's a robust library that the admins can curate for their users, their social sellers, that provide them starting points on what to say from an organic content perspective. It's all compliant. You can build in those compliance workflows to make sure that they're comfortable saying what they want to say on social. And then today is not a deep dive into paid advertising, but we obviously enable paid advertising at scale. So the local social sellers don't have to be experts in paid advertising, but we enable your marketing team to do that at scale and really drive leads with paid on social. So that's just the highlight, but that's what we do to make your company more productive in social selling.
I was typing out the answer in there too.
Ooh, sorry, it was a little fast for you to type.
I know that was really fast. I'm not a good typer. Did I have one more question come through to me? I think that was it. Did anybody else have any other questions? I think the biggest thing that I hear every day, just to reiterate, how, as a social seller, I think these are pretty easy for you to take back and implement. As an admin that might be trying to get your, maybe you're herding cats. You've got a lot of people that you're trying to spruce up or help, them optimize their social selling strategy. How do I get them on board? So some of the resources that we're going to send out later are going to be really helpful, but also for our existing customers, talk to your CSM, because we have some resources, toolkits that we are totally willing and want to share with you. So if it's something that you want to talk more about, reach out to us and we are happy to walk through it with you.
And I'm happy to join that conversation as well.
Love